Today, I want to share with you the topics, Humans of IT, AI for Good. How using AI to empower everyone to achieve more, to the community. First of all, I want to ask you some questions. I want to ask you, what can you do with AI? I believe that all of you will give me more than one answer. And then I will ask you, what do you think AI can do for the community? I believe that all of you have different answers or different ideas that come up from the mind. How about I ask you one more question? Have you ever thought of joining some AI project, AI for Good project? You may ask me, Ada, I heard that AI for Good project for the NGO, mostly they don't have much funding. That may not be true. There is a lot of good funder in the market. Private funder, government funding, they are fully support the Hong Kong for Good project. So that's one part. The second, you may ask, I'm not sure that if they have funding, then they can ask a lot of IT partner in the market. That may not be true too. I heard a lot of NGO telling me that they have funding, they have ideas, but they cannot find good partners in the market because the talent shortage on the IT market is really, really important, really have a problem. Therefore, today my presentation is to want to show you that there is a lot of AI for Good project that leads you. So let me go into details. Today's agenda, I will focus on talking about the first one is the AI for Good program for Microsoft. This is, we want to encourage more AI projects to help the community. And second, it's our honor to have invited one of the major funder in Hong Kong Jockey Club, Charities Foundation, Charities Trust. They will share with you their perspective on the local Tech for Good project. And the third part, I have invited an NGO, Crossroads, who will share about their experience in working on the Tech for Good projects. So let me get started. First of all, let me share about Microsoft's mission. It's to empower everyone and every organization on the planet to achieve more. With this, we want to encourage you guys to build more, to achieve more for the community. I don't think I need to elaborate more on what AI can do. AI actually had a lot of recognition. They can perceive, they can learn, they can reason. And most importantly, they are amplifying the human capabilities. So let's talk about AI for Good. Just like I mentioned, Microsoft wants to encourage more AI for Good projects. Especially, we can see that AI can do a lot of good things for business, for the world. And AI have a lot of capability to do for good project. You can see, we will give you more examples. This AI for Good project in Microsoft is actually a 165 million commitment to empower the people, everyone, to achieve to a more sustainable and accessible world. We give free resources to support. One is the technology, for example, Azure credit. Second, the resources, for example, a small cash grant. And third will be the expertise. We may have some engineering hours to support this. So this is our AI for Good project. You can feel free to look at the website to see the details. It's actually divided into 5 pillars. The first 2 is actually open for public online application. The application is not a difficult form. It's just a few pages. You just write it and apply for it, then it's good. So the first one will be AI for accessibility. It is mainly for people to develop different AI ideas for the people with disability to help their daily life, help their study, help their employment, communication, etc. Second, AI for Earth. That is an interesting topic in Hong Kong because Hong Kong climate care project still have a lot of good chance to do the technology support. There is actually focusing more on the agriculture, the biodiversity, the climate care, and also water. And the other 3 is focusing on, it is for by invitation. It includes AI for humanitarian action. This is mainly for the place who had the disaster, who have the earthquake or the tsunami case, that how to use AI to help the immediately remedy action. And then the fourth one is AI for cultural heritage. There is a lot of different museums in the world need to preserve the artifacts. AI can help. Or there's a lot of language are being distinct every day. AI can help. And the last one is, this one, I really love it, AI for health. That is a really new project coming up. That is last month. AI for health is a really new pillar. It is focusing on how to help people to have a better health. So this is the 5 pillars of AI for good. Let me give you some examples. This one is about AI for accessibility. This is an app called Seeing AI. If you have a phone that is iOS version, I strongly recommend you to download this free of charge app called Microsoft Seeing AI. It's a really interesting app that to let you see what AI, how AI capability. So it is actually designed to visually impaired people. They can take a picture using their mobile phone and know that what is happening in front of him or her, including the people, the text, and the object. For example, there is a lady in front of you. The message can tell you that her gender, her age, and her emotion. And more than that, it can help you to see what is the object's colors, what is the text message, even the band look, etc. So Seeing AI is a really good app there for you to experience what is AI. And second, this project is about AI for health. This is Novartis Foundation had developed this app. You can see that it's simple. Just take a picture. Can tell you that whether this patient have a high chance of leprosy. If that is the case, that a lot of people don't really need to go to hospital, especially in this situation. They can just stay home, take a picture. If they worry about this is a leprosy case, and then send it to the clinic or the doctor. And then AI will tell you that how high is the chance of this is a leprosy. So this can save a lot of resources in the medical field and also save the patient time. So this is one of the AI for health project. And then the other one is AI for Earth project. It's called Farm Beats. It is, they put a lot of different sensors in the farm. It is actually applying in different parts of the country already, different part of the world already. Put a sensor in the farm, then the farmer can have, using AI to predict the water level, the temperature level, the pH level, etc. This will make them have better profit and also to maximize the efficiency and lower cost. This is a really good project that help the farmer. The next one is another interesting AI for Earth project. It's called Wild Me. Can you imagine that this animal or this animal, if you meet him last month, can you recognize that it is the same animal that this month? You cannot use your bare eyes to find it, but AI can do it. So AI can tell you this is the animal exactly you saw last week. In this case, they can do a lot of prediction of the ecosystem of the extinct species. If that is the case, that a lot of this kind of animal can be preserved by observing their daily habit. So this is called Wild Me. Another project about AI for Earth. This is called Water. This is a Hong Kong case. This is so interesting. It is actually a CTU professor. He wants to preserve the coral ecosystem. So every day, he uses an autonomous vehicle, underwater vehicle, to take thousands and thousands of pictures of the coral. And every day when he comes back, he needs to use a lot of computational power to do the assessment and do the prediction. And then he applied for Microsoft AI for Earth grant. And then he got the credit, extra credit. He got the engineering hours and a little cash. In that case, he can save a lot of his time and resources and computational power to predict using AI of the coral system. That is a really good project. And the next one, I want to show you, just now I talked a lot about the examples, How about let's see about from this video, what other project can inspire you?
Like never before, our world is changing. Faced with some of our most critical challenges, human ingenuity triumphs. Today, the Microsoft AI for Good initiative enables a person with an idea to accelerate it, to give it scale, to create change for the better.
Microsoft AI will help our work by empowering people to take action.
Through AI for Earth, photos can now help save a species. With AI for accessibility, the visual world becomes an audible experience.
Sanitarium peanut butter.
And with AI for humanitarian action, first responders can target their efforts faster than ever before.
It feels humbling to know that I'm actually helping another human being.
Today, we are empowering others to forge new paths, to fight famine before a crisis strikes, and protect ecosystems by identifying forests down to a single tree.
We have the forest that we have today. We can't change that. What we can change is the future.
Microsoft AI is fueling some of the most passionate and creative people on our planet, with the help of citizen scientists, to make change, once thought impossible, real.
AI will know and understand and model based on the child interaction.
AI unleashes new possibilities to impact our world. And together, we're not just dreaming it, we're doing it.
So you can see that AI can really do a lot for the community. We have some local challenge. This project, AI for Good, has been in Microsoft for about 2 years. But in Hong Kong, there's not many projects yet. Therefore, we find that the issue is they are lacking of lacking of AI for Good ideas. Second, is it's difficult to find the IT talent to support the project. But I know you all is capable of doing all that. So therefore, I encourage you all to apply for this AI for Good program. If you have an idea, but you don't know how to get started, you can apply for it to develop a prototype and bring back to Hong Kong to find the different stakeholders to make it realized. Or if you already have a project, already have a funding, already ready to launch in Hong Kong, why not apply for this? Let me see whether I can help you to make your project bigger outside Hong Kong. So please action. Join us, AI for Good. Okay, today is really honored for us to invite Bryan Wong, Head of Charities, Grant Making of Hong Kong Jockey Club Charity Trust.
Thank you.
One of the world top 10 donors in Hong Kong. So welcome, Bryan.
Thank you.
So Bryan, would you tell us briefly, introduce your role in Hong Kong Jockey Club?
We donate money to support different causes in Hong Kong, from youth to elderly to sports, arts and culture. Basically anything about social needs in Hong Kong, we try to support through our donation.
I think no one in Hong Kong didn't know Jockey Club. You guys really do a lot. So I believe that Jockey Club receives many Tech for Good projects proposals from NGO every day. And what are the current challenges or pain points you observe from NGO in working on the AI on data specific project?
First of all, the biggest problem is always money, and this is where we, as a charities trust, try to support. Two, I think a lot of the NGOs are realizing the need to go into digital. So before we can even talk about AI, you first have to digitize your service from the front end to the back end in order to have enough data to have any kind of AI to speak of. The number 3 challenge, I think, is that most of the NGOs do not have a lot of resources. They don't, specifically, they don't have a lot of in-house IT expertise. Some of the bigger NGOs that we have been in touch with told us that even with a sizable operation of, let's say, more than 1,000 full-time staff and services all across town in Hong Kong, their IT department may consist of only 5 to 7 people. So you can imagine how stretched they are when it comes to doing anything related to technology. So I think money and people are definitely the constraints right now.
Yeah, I know that a lot of the IT manager in the NGO is equal to HR manager, equal to the operation manager. So they may not even have the tech expertise on that. Yeah.
Some of them, certainly the smaller ones.
I also want to ask that if there is there any existing program or resources that Hong Kong JC is supporting the NGO in submitting the Tech for Good project?
Yeah, one of the bigger program after we realized that a lot of NGOs would need expertise support is that we are working with the Hong Kong Productivity Council, HKPC. Essentially, we have funded them for a 5-year duration, whereby they will provide different kind of advisory and consultancy support to NGOs. The services are all free to the NGOs. Anything from IT strategic planning to specific technical aspects of the proposal that the NGOs want to put together to get funding, maybe from the government or from us, or even to project implementation support. The HKPC team would be ready to provide the free services to NGOs.
Yeah, I heard about this. This is a really, really great news for the NGO. The project name is Hong Kong Jockey Club IT Support Program for NGOs. So that we also have the website here, so feel free to go to it and see what is the details, especially on the strategic consultation to the program implementation support that they can also give you advice. So let me take this opportunity to share, other than Hong Kong Jockey Club, Microsoft also have a lot of support to NGO. So that in that many years, Microsoft had tech donation for NGO. That is, NGO can use our product free of charge or in a significant discount. Other than that, we also have a different program for them. For example, some seminar to teach them how to use the Tech for Good product, how to use the cloud service. We have different training for them. So that is all that the funder and also the tech company are supporting the NGO. So other than that, I also want to ask Bryan, in these few years, AI is really impacting the world a lot. So is there any successful funding project that is AI for Good related case?
To be honest, I think we're at the very beginning stage. We probably aren't quite at the AI stage yet, but there are certainly some projects where we are trying to make use of technology and involve a lot of people, a lot of data from the service beneficiaries. And I can share a couple of examples here. The first project example is the Jockey Club e-health community care project. We have supported NGOs to set up essentially basic measurement stations at elderly centers. The elderly users can do their basic measurement of the blood pressure, the blood sugar level, and so on. All these data, once the measurement has been taken, would be fed into a database, and behind the scene, the Chinese university team would be looking at, this 10,000 elderly users, how their these metrics have been varying, and behind the scene, there's also a telecare team. The team of nurses will call up these individual elderly citizens if they notice any special trends or strange movement of the metrics. So that's the first one. The second one is an online emotional support project we called
Open Up.
Open Up, yes. Open Up is about supporting mainly the youth. Most of the youth don't want to make phone calls anymore when they have emotional disturbance or they want to have someone to talk to. So now they all moved into chat mode. We supported 3 NGOs in addition to the University of Hong Kong to run this chat service. And eventually what the project would want to go to is to be able to analyze the chat history between the users and the social workers or the volunteers to identify, to categorize different risk level of the users, as well as identifying effective ways of addressing different level or different kind of emotional situations depicted just by the chat history itself. So we want to get there eventually when the service has become large scale enough and we have accumulated enough data.
It's cool. So I can see that Hong Kong JC is actually supporting a lot of projects in AI and big data, especially utilizing the power of the prediction, the data analytics to really build impact to the community. So really happy to hear about that.
Thank you.
So Bryan, since that the audience are mostly the tech savvy, do you have any final words for them?
Well, I think all of us would agree that the power of technology is tremendous. We're just at the very beginning, certainly in Hong Kong, in the social sector, in utilizing technology to help our service users. So we constantly look out for inspirational examples from other parts of the world, but also locally. So I would encourage our friends from the social sector to think about technology and definitely come to us when they have any good idea.
That's cool. So yeah, I got the insight from Bryan that you see Hong Kong Jockey Club and also Microsoft are all, including other in every part of the Hong Kong, actually want to support more AI for the NGO project in order to build more impact to the community. So thank you, Bryan.
Thank you.
Very happy to talk to you. And then you guys just get moving and do it. Thank you. So today I'm really happy to have invited my old friends, Matthew Go from Crossroads, to share with us his experience to working with the Tech for Good projects. So Matthew, could you briefly introduce Crossroads and also your role in the organization?
Sure. So Crossroads is a Hong Kong-based non-profit organization. We've been going for about 25 years. And we have 4 parts of our work. One is receiving donated goods and giving them to help social welfare clients or to set up other charities. Another is that we purchase fairly traded goods from developing communities or social enterprises here in Hong Kong to help them gain income and educate people about using their buying power to help communities. So we have a fair trade shop and a cafe. We run simulation programs that help students and corporate groups to understand issues and then go forward and act in response. And we also have a kind of like a dating service, but don't get too excited, for companies particularly who want to use their goods to help other organizations globally. So those are kind of the 4 parts of our work. And I've worked there for 20 years now.
Wow.
And I'm the CTO and also a director. I'm the director of strategy.
Cool. So I remember that a few years ago when Microsoft first launched an AirShare donation, you are the first one to tell me.
Yes.
And at that time I was not aware of that yet. So that you guys are really cool that you really stay tuned on the latest technology in the market. And I know that you have leveraged a lot of technology in most of your daily operation and the tech donation, computer donation, etc. May you share with us a bit more about this?
Absolutely. Yes. So my background prior to joining Crossroads was working in IT for some big companies. And then I switched to nonprofits and brought that with me, I guess. And so, yeah, we were really excited when we discovered that Microsoft was going to start making available the cloud platform for nonprofits, because we decided that, hey, we're a charity, we don't want to be in the business of owning servers or building fancy data warehousing systems or server rooms and managing this kind of stuff. We would prefer to leverage the professionals platform like Azure. And so when we realized, maybe there'll be some opportunity for charities to get access to that at a much more affordable sort of charitable rate, even as a donation to a certain level, we were super excited. And we've actually migrated almost all of the things we used to host ourselves onto the Azure platform. Just a couple of things we keep locally, so massively reduced our footprint. But one of the things we were especially excited about using the Azure platform for was we had a strategic innovation project called Good City, which was, the idea was to take apps and allow people to just pull out their phone, photograph items they would like to donate to Crossroads. So it's much easier for the donor, for the company or the private donor. And also then have our staff, volunteers, use an app as well to review and liaise with the donor to make that whole process of donation much more efficient. And finally, for the charities here in Hong Kong and the social workers, to let them see the goods, request the goods for their projects, or for their staff, or for their beneficiaries, all on an app, on a series of apps. And so to get that innovation out there in the marketplace, we wanted to put it on a premier kind of platform. And so that's why we were asking early on, say, hey, can we put a lot of our new innovation up on that platform so that we don't have to, again, have all that resource internally? Yeah.
I have experienced that Good City app because I donated some furniture a few months ago.
Oh, cool.
And your volunteers are really helpful.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Yes.
Everyone using my mobile phone, all done.
Oh, very good. Actually, and we also have a donation, I believe, that Microsoft will be doing to us of some computers in due course. So that'll be exciting too.
Yeah.
Also going through the app. So it is helping us. And I think that's where technology really should be starting to turn over in the minds of the nonprofit, is to say, to grow just using more money, more manpower, and more facilities, that's one way. But how about we can innovate so that the same manpower, the same money, the same resources can have a larger impact?
Yes.
And this was what that whole Good City project was about, to say, you know, actually we're not going to get twice as much manpower, twice as much money, but we can help twice as many people if we take a lot of the process and automate it through a much more convenient platform.
Yeah, that's the beauty of technology it can do.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's been a long journey for us trying progressively to move things into a more technology-powered approach so that we don't have to burden our staff with every day-to-day process. We can allow some of that to be lifted from their shoulders.
Yeah. So can I ask what are the challenges and pain points when you're dealing with some AI or tech project?
Yeah, actually I want to talk about AI for a second because this is, you know, the cloud was one of the big sort of pushes and remains a big push, then mobile, and we've talked about apps. Now we're hearing a lot about AI, and I think people are starting to sort of think, how can that play a role in my organization? And actually what's exciting is there's a whole range of opportunities now that we're starting to see. Everything from turnkey solutions, things that are really kind of available off the shelf, right the way through to deep innovations that could revolutionize the way care is provided or service is provided. And I'd like to give some examples if I could. So for us, I've talked about the app. So we have volunteers who are reviewing donation items, photos of items, and categorizing them correctly so later people can find and request them. But machines are really good at identifying pictures now. And you don't have to invent that technology. You can leverage it. There are tools even that make that quite approachable now. Like Power BI even has image tagging capability. It can be trained. You need some technical ability, but you don't need to invent a new technology. You need to put the pieces together. Also, we have staff that are interacting with donors every day, hundreds and hundreds of interactions. But where possible, we would love for them to be able to focus on the more important interactions and have the simple questions answered by a machine.
Chatbot.
Yeah, chatbot. And this chatbot kind of solution is now quite mature. And again, you don't have to invent it. You still have to implement to your setup. But you know, what time are you open? Where are you? Can I do this? Can I do that? These repeated questions, the same answer every time, we can elevate the work of our volunteers and our staff by removing some of that routine work from their hands. And so these are some of the things we're looking into now.
Cool.
Say, how can we take the mobile and the cloud-based stuff and power it further with AI? So you asked me about the challenges.
You guys are a good model for NGO.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, challenges.
The challenges, I think there are probably at least three. One is, I think, having having a picture of what is possible. And for that kind of thing, it's a real shame that the event that we're representing today couldn't happen, because there's an opportunity, right, to share stories, share ideas with other colleagues in the social welfare sector in Hong Kong and discuss how could we do this, how could we do that. So I think that's where there's an opportunity for forums and the kinds of things that Microsoft brings groups together around to learn and think, how can we use these things to do better? And I think sometimes people are in the nonprofit world are a bit scared of these technologies. They think, I'm not an expert. But I would say you are an expert. You're an expert in what good service looks like and what the needs of your beneficiaries are. So get into the conversation with the technology people and just talk about the solution that you know, which is how to be a good service provider, and then let the technology be shaped to that.
You guys are the expert on that part.
I try.
With the technology help.
Yeah. So having a picture of what it could look like, and that's where friendships and conversation and forums are helpful. Then obviously there's getting it done, and that requires skills and funding usually, because in-house we're not going to have data science PhDs and people who can invent new approaches. So we need partners. And so finding those kind of partners can sometimes be a challenge. And in order to use those partners often, you need to have the funding. You need a partner with money who has a vision for how technology can really make a big difference. So I think those are some of the challenges that people are facing.
Got it. So talking about, I know Crossroads is already the one that is really first in applying and adopting the technology. And I know you guys are a very strong technical team in Crossroads. So talking about others NGO, I know that a lot of them don't even have a CTO, don't even have a tech expertise in the NGO. So they always find it difficulties to handle the Tech for Good project.
Right.
Do you have any heard from them the ping points or anything that you can give them some advice?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's true that their starting point is not having a lot of technical capability internally. And so, and even for us, we have some capable technologists, but we can't do all these things ourselves.
Yeah.
And so that's why we find ourselves reaching out to partners. And that's what I encourage people to do, to reach out to partners. In some cases, a partner, for example, like Microsoft, can lower the barrier to get access to the tools by making them either freely or available at a much more affordable rate. So this is kind of lowers the barrier to entry. And there are some tools, like ones I've mentioned, that are almost available off the shelf. You still need some technology assistance, but you can get a long way just using the tools as they are. So you need that kind of partner. You do need funding partners. And Jockey Club has helped us with some of the projects we've talked about. There are some specific funds out there that are designed now in Hong Kong to help nonprofits access technology solutions.
Yeah.
And I think charities should really look closely at those because the funding and the programs themselves try to help them tackle the other problem, which is how to think through the process, how to really go, this is our service, this is our goal, what's the path, the technology path from one to the other.
The strategic consultation.
Yeah, that kind of thing, I think. Charities don't need to pretend that they have the answers. They have to reach out with the questions and seek partners that can help them find the path forward. Yeah.
I see. So do you have any final words for our audience who is mostly the tech savvy?
Well, mostly the tech savvy, did you say?
Yeah.
Well, I would say to those of you in the audience who are technologists and know your data science, you know AI, you know what it means to build a model, what it means to, answer questions using AI. I would say raise your hand, so to speak, and offer yourself as a partner, because nonprofit organizations do have very challenging but very exciting opportunities to provide better services to the community. And I think also for you as technology firms and individuals, charitable organizations might be a great opportunity for you to demonstrate to the world your capability, because you're out there showing the world that you're on top of this and leading this charge on new technology, and sometimes having a showcase program of work that has a social impact, that demonstrates your heart and demonstrates your skill, really is a win-win. And the charities are hungry for that kind of input, and they are looking to do this not just on a donation basis necessarily, because there are now some funding partners who see the opportunity, and if there is a legitimate opportunity to make a difference, the possibility of that being a win-win-win is there. So yeah, I would say put yourself forward and try to help make a difference, because the world needs it. You know, there's plenty more problems than we have hands to solve right now. So please put your hands to work and help us get this done.
Cool, thank you,
Yeah.
Matthew. So put yourself forward. So I have some wrap up about discussing with Bryan and Matthew. I got some insight today. I see that from the two guests that they talk, I can see that there is strong support from the market. Microsoft, funders, government, a lot of different program support. And I find that one of the key issues is the IT talent shortage, especially what Matthew talked about, the IT, the partner support, the market, the ideas generation, all that, so that we strongly encourage you guys to play a part in this AI for good. Thank you, Matthew.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.